All right, what's up, everyone? It's time to talk about Orange County Soccer Club. We still have much to talk about the whole fun championship soccer stadium stuff. We saw all the amazing comments that were left by soccer fans all across the United States, and including many of you right here in Orange County, California. So we'll talk about those. And it was actually a successful weekend on the pitch for Orange County Soccer Club as they came out victorious against one of our arch rivals, Phoenix Rising. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Let's get this thing started. Welcome to the Podcast of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
And the air leaves Allang Stadium in one large exhale. Trouble. Arozarena's feet. Orange County opens the scoring. It's Thomas. Kuninga scores! The old guard with a new trophy.
This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora, and I'm going to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. Let's bring in the panel that we have joining us tonight. First, down in San Diego. Oh, no, up in Reno. Where are we going first? Let's go back down to San Diego. We'll figure this thing out already. Let's go to San Diego and Mr. Alan Underwood in San Diego. How are we doing, Alan?
Doing all right. It's the first week of school with the little ones, and so let's just say I feel like I have played a extra time match in like a knockout round where I am just nice and tired, but really excited to talk about this really important win for Orange County and some wonder goals from the guy who scored wonder goals.
The Golden Boot leader that scores wonder goals, right?
His boot might well be golden by the end of the year. Yes.
I got you right. You thought you were done talking, taking a sip of whatever you have in that mug. But I got you there. Let's head up north and west to Reno and Mr. Brad up in Reno. How are we doing, Mr. Brad?
Doing quite well. I really got teased by Andy there, I guess. Producer Andy just putting me on the stream and then taking me away, kind of ruining my moment of glory of going first. But I'm doing well. I got a smoked shot of really double shot of Glenmorangie 15, so I can't complain. It's some good stuff.
So we know what Brad's drinking, some sort of smoked whiskey of some sort.
Yes, I took a whiskey.
Alan, what do you got in your mug?
It looks like coffee, but it's not.
You don't want it? Are you hiding it? You don't want
it's like a gin and tonic. It's a gin and tonic, but I like drinking out of like coffee mugs, so it looks like I'm on like a morning talk show. All right, this one is a morning talk show.
Yeah, I was about to say
that's a great morning talk show, by the way. Let me say this: I'm actually sort of closer to Brad in my drink of the night. I'm drinking one of BJ's beer of the months, and it is called Rachelles, and it's a German style smoked lager. So I got that smoky flavor in my beer. I don't know. I think Andy and Alan and probably Brad were all watching when I took my first sip of this. It was a little bit surprising of what the taste was. It was just straight smoky flavor that I was getting, which I'm not used to when I'm drinking a lager. But hey, I like to try new things. And after the first couple sips, I think as with any liquor, whether it's beer, hard liquor, wine, after you get a couple sips in, it just tastes good. So that's what I'm going with tonight, a smoky lager to join with what you got. Let's get into the soccer talk here, because this is not a beer or alcohol podcast. This is a soccer podcast.
Can I close it on? Can I close it on one comment?
Go for it.
Okay. You talking about how like your first sip of that and then it kind of like dissipates and I get used to it. It's kind of like a college kid talking about his first beer and he's cringing at the first sip and then he's like, I'll get used to it, as he's like crying on the inside. That's you, right?
I probably am crying on the inside as I drink this still, but it's tasting
Smoked
okay.
beers are good beers.
You know what? It's part of the Beer of the Month Club. It's like $32 every 2 months, and you get a 4-pack of a special canned beer plus a 750 milliliter bottle of another beer. So you get 2 beers out of it for that $32 every 2 months. So and you get a free pizza, takeout pizza, which is cool. We're not sponsored by BJ's, but it's a pretty good, cool deal. Let's now talk about soccer. We're 5 minutes in and we haven't even started really talking about what we're here to talk about. That's Orange County Soccer Club. Before we get into the Phoenix match, I want to just sort of touch up and sort of get a maybe update of where we are with this whole championship soccer stadium thing. I know our producer, Andy, located the e-comments, and if you follow him on Twitter, he actually started sharing some of those e-comments that were left on the city agenda. Many of them left that Friday when we first heard the news. Our very own Alan Underwood was one of those that left comments. There was just under 100 comments left, and each one of those comments was in support of Orange County Soccer Club and or Cal United and their ability to continue playing at Championship Soccer Stadium. I don't recall one comment that was in support of LA Galaxy's bid to, or I guess non-bid at this point, because LA Galaxy is saying they never wanted exclusivity, but nothing in support of that. But I mean, I was reading through the list and I skimmed through it quickly. So I apologize if I didn't read any of specific comments that people were leaving, but a good third of those, if not more, were from fans outside of the Southern California, Orange County area. Like I said, including Alan, there were many comments from, I want to say like the St. Louis soccer fans. I saw some comments from Texas soccer fans. I saw some comments from Florida, from, I want to say, Minnesota. So it was really cool to read through some of those comments. We will look for the best way to share a link if you haven't already looked for those, or if Andy, our producer, hasn't already shared. We'll find the best way to share that. So if anyone wants to go and read through all those comments, it'll be easy to read. Maybe what we'll do is we'll post up a quick little article with a link to it on our website so people can read. But again, like we said last week, much appreciation to all of the support that fans have been providing. I know there's still concern, at least from the local fan group, that this isn't over, that this is just sort of a first victory in what probably will be a prolonged war when this comes. I think, again, leaving the city council meeting last week, it seems like this is something that they want to bring back on the agenda in the future. And it was just because of the legality portion of it that they sort of removed it. So hopefully we can keep the voice going with this. We can keep everyone, keep this top of the news cycle for USL and for lower division soccer in the United States, and make sure that this doesn't sneak up. I would assume this is not going to be able to sneak up anymore, because there's going to be a lot of people keeping an eye on this. So we'll see what happens with that. I know I went on and put in a request, a document request through the city for any documents pertaining to discussions over Championship Soccer Stadium between any entity that was potentially involved in all this cluster mess, including LA Galaxy, AEG, Orange County Soccer Club, Cal United Soccer, James Keston, the owners of Cal United, USL, MLS, so forth and so on. So still have not heard back from the city on that request, but they did say on the website it can take up to 10 days. So we're still within that time frame, but I'm hoping that can help give a little bit of more clarification on who's being honest and who's being a little dishonest when it comes to this whole conversation. Before we move on to the Phoenix Rising match, Alan or Brad, do you have anything you want to throw into that conversation, or any additional information you've heard regarding Championship Soccer Stadium and this whole mess? Shake of the head no from Alan. It looks like.
Just remember, it'll take a couple weeks. We know the deadline is sometime in November for them to. I think November 1st is when it auto renews, at least the current contract. So we know that it has to. This conversation will pick up sometime in between now and then.
And in all honesty, at least from what I heard from sources that are close to LA Galaxy, was LA Galaxy had some sort of deadline of, I want to say, August 12th to have a plan for their stadium, which obviously we're past that at this point. And again, Galaxy came up with that statement just before the city council meeting that they never wanted exclusivity, and they're working with all parties to try and find a solution that works for everyone and is a sort of a win for everyone, is sort of the way they worded it. But we'll see how this plays out. We'll keep you updated as more comes along. For those of you that haven't really checked out or don't follow our written stuff, Larry, who's been on our show in the past, actually wrote up a good little piece on the situation from an Orange County fan perspective. So if you haven't read that yet, go to our website, OCSCpodcast.com, and you can check it out. It's like the first news article we have on there right now. So props to Larry for providing that, and for all the written stuff, content that he's provided for our website. Let's talk about Phoenix Rising. Just off the whole City Hall thing, right back into soccer action for Orange County Soccer Club, as they're hosting Phoenix, who on the pitch is a rival, but off the pitch, they've become allies in this battle. Probably one of these matches, when you look at preseason or in past seasons, this is a marquee matchup for USL Championship on the West Coast. Interesting fact is it sort of became a marquee matchup, but not for the reasons that most people would expect. It's more of, these are two teams that you expected to be in the hunt for playoffs. They're both struggling. So now there's a must-win game for these two teams in the latter part of the season. And thanks to a brace by one Milan Iloski, Orange County is able to get a full 3 points at home against Phoenix in what looked to be a pretty good match for them compared to some other matches we've watched this season. I know part of it you couldn't see much because of the glare of the sun, but that's just as typical at certain times of the year at Championship Soccer Stadium. Alan, I'm going to go to you first. Your thoughts on the match from Orange County and the 3 points they picked up. How important was this for the team with their hopes? I mean, they're still within playoff contention mathematically. I know it still would be very difficult, but this was an important match, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's an important match just on the face of Rising in Orange County's history, like you mentioned before. But anytime you're playing somebody who's also fighting for that last playoff spot, it's really important to take points off of them when you can, right? Because that keeps them closer and that keeps them from popping up into that playoff spot. It also helps with, tiebreakers as well, right? If you're getting a win, those head-to-head matchups could be the difference between 7th and 8th place, as tight as the West is right now, right? You have less than 10 points from 6th to last and 11 points from 5th to last. So, I mean, that's going to be a huge swing with 10 games left. So this game was really big. In the past, this might have been a game to try and get a home playoff match. And now this game was, I think, even more important just to get to the playoffs. And Orange County did a really good job against Phoenix, kind of mucking up the middle. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit later about how they kind of broke that down. But going into this match, both teams really wanted to get 3 points. Phoenix wanted to get 3 to possibly move to a playoff spot, and Orange County needed 3 to stay within touching distance.
So we've heard probably multiple times. I think we've heard more from team president Dan Rutstein regarding just sort of the whole situation. And we've heard that really the players are trying to focus strictly on what's going on the pitch. They're not, getting involved too much with the stadium mess. But Brad, I mean, obviously there seemed to be a whole different energy from this team, the group of players, and maybe just energy in the stadium in general, because of the whole situation going on. As much as the players are probably being left out of the loop, this has to be on their minds, right? And we'll obviously get a chance to ask one of the players as they come on what the atmosphere was like at the stadium. But this has to be in the back of their minds. They read the news, right? They're not ignoring this, right, Brad?
I actually think the players might be doing a good job kind of ignoring this and focusing on the fact that they're still on the outside looking in. I know that this is one of those, it's the stadium's on the line type deal, and they might not be there next year, but pretty much all these players on this roster would still find jobs within the league. I can almost guarantee it. And not saying that their preference isn't to be in Orange County. It's right now their priority is making it to playoffs because we're still on the outside looking in. And I'm sure they've heard and listened to it. I know that Coach Chaplow has shown them, videos of testimonies at City Hall. But right now, looking at this game, players that stood up that we haven't said enough of this season are Dylan Powers and Seth Kasipley, both of which are starting to figure out how that midfield should be playing in games now. But both their assists in that game were pretty quality, getting the ball to Milan. Dylan Powers' chip to get Milan just wide open in the box, it's got to be something they've been working on in training camp because it was almost like picture perfect execution on the field there. So it's just incredible um, how this team's kind of turned it around. The one big mistake and glaring hole is Skendi makes yet another mistake in the back, but this team looked a lot better this week, and especially against, even though they're not as powerhouse as they used to be, this is still a very loaded Phoenix Rising side with some very quality players, a quality goalie, but they're also struggling with the same problems Orange County is, which is closing down and defending at the back end.
Let me ask you this, Alan. Brad brought up one of the players that was a key contributor in this match in Dylan Powers. If we look back to last season, the championship run, it all sort of started when Dylan Powers joined the club, got his legs under him and figured out how he fit in with his team. And then the team just started playing really nice. Then in the offseason, he heads out, I believe, to Ireland for some play and comes back to Orange County now midway through this season. And lo and behold, after maybe a few weeks trying to figure out where he's fitting into this new set of players and getting his legs under him, the team is looking a lot more solid, at least in the midfield. Last year, we saw that partnership built up with players like Tommy McCabe. This year, it looks like Seth Kasipley is one of those players that he maybe is working out some good relationships with in the midfield. Is this maybe sort of we're going to look back at the season and say, man, if only we would have kept Dylan Powers and had him at the start of the season, this could have been a different 2022 season for Orange County, right?
Yeah, I think, the easiest answer is, maybe the back line is not nearly as solid. But I think there's also a feeling around the league that the midfield has been the really big issue with Orange County, where if you don't have a good quality midfield to kind of stop counterattacks, to counter press, to kind of muck up the middle and force guys around the outside, you're not going to be as successful. And so to see Orange County kind of play a really good midfield match, like if you look at if you go to the USL website and look at average positions for the starting 11, only Santi Moore is further ahead than the halfway line for Phoenix. Most of the rest of the team, including their striker JJ Williams, his average position was about the halfway line. And this kind of felt what was going on in the match, is that they tried to build up through the middle, and Orange County almost put like 6 guys almost across the halfway line and just denied Phoenix any sort of forward momentum, and really kind of stalled them out. Right, they finished with 5 shots, 1 shot on target, and I think most of those happen in the first half. So when you look at this match, yes, Skendi has a little bit of a over aggressive play that leads to that goal. If he stays back, maybe that goal doesn't happen. But when you're looking at this match, 0 shots on target in the second half for Phoenix, 3 shots total. This was a really nice defensive effort, and it was really anchored by that midfield, just giving Phoenix Rising 0 space to move through it. And balls got turned over, attacks were stopped, and they really frustrated Phoenix in a way that I don't think I've seen Orange County really frustrate a team like that this season.
So Brad, you mentioned some of the key contributors in this match. Is there any other names that you look at in this match that stand out to you for Orange County, other than say a Milan Iloski, Dylan Powers, or Seth Kasipley?
Villanueva keeps running, and he's probably got some of the most mileage on that pitch.
Simple and sweet from Mr. Brad Polanski there. How surprised were either of you of the result here? I don't remember what the predictions. Brad, do you have the predictions in front of you? What were our predictions from this match last week?
2 seconds. Our predictions of the match last week were 1-1 Allen, 2-2 Brad, 3-3 Dylan, 0-5 Ray.
So all of you were anticipating a draw. Everyone knows when I do my 5-0-5 prediction for the other team winning, it's because I'm trying to get this good karma going on for Orange County. But none of you had any confidence that Orange County could pull this off at home. So let me go to you, Alan. What did Orange County do that you didn't anticipate them doing in this match?
Shutting down a decently successful attack. I thought the way that Orange County had been playing that Iloski would for sure get a goal, right? That's like almost an automatic at this point, it seems. But I thought Phoenix would have enough, and it seemed to be that case for the first half, right? Iloski goes down, scores a goal. Really nice work goal. I believe broke some ankles, sent a guy flying. I'm still not sure if he's back up yet. And then JJ Williams goes down and scores a nice goal. And I was like, all right, this is what it's probably going to be. It's going to be Orange County defending, scoring, and then Phoenix finding a way back in. But credit to Orange County for finishing off that second half the way they did. And I think, keeping their mind around them, not giving up bad mistakes like we saw on the first goal, just being defensively sound, I think was the biggest difference. And that's been a little bit lacking at times for Orange County throughout the season, as far as kind of seeing out games and seeing out wins. And so it was nice for Orange County to see, maybe not like the most excitingly played game for Phoenix. They felt pretty slow and pretty lethargic. But Orange County put them into that position. So credit to them for doing that. And I think that's the difference between not giving up a late equalizer for Phoenix. I thought they might have one in them, but they just never seemed to look comfortable, and credit to Orange County for making them uncomfortable.
Yeah, let's be honest. We all were probably sitting there 85 minutes into the match thinking, how does Orange County blunder this one away? We've seen it so many times, and especially against a team like Phoenix, who will come back and score an equalizer. All just sitting there being like, there's got to be one more goal in this game.
Yeah, that was probably that's the way the season goes, right? Is the final 10 minutes of regulation and any extra time as an Orange County fan, when it's a 1 goal or even a 2 goal lead for Orange County, you're still not going to feel confident at that point, just the way the season has played out. And I think I think the announcers on the match were even discussing that was like nervous time for Orange County fans, and talking about, I believe it was the Oakland Roots match where Orange County was up by 2 or up by 1 and heading into extra time, and Oakland Roots gets 2 goals in extra time. It's been that kind of season for Orange County. And you could probably look back in most leagues across the world, and you're not going to see teams that just have this much bad luck throughout a season in the final, 10 to 15 minutes of a match. Orange County, it as much as there was confidence in the final run-in last season when the defense was solid and the team was just looking like they were just a perfect machine out there, it's like a complete different team this season with the way they're doing it there. So the fact that they're able to hold on after taking that 2-1 lead, because obviously, right, that 1-0 lead, and then within a couple minutes to give up an equalizer. I mean, you're like, okay, here we go again. This is the way Orange County plays. We got the lead, the fans are excited, and then we gave up an equalizer. What's going to happen here on out? But again, they were able to pull out the 2-1 victory for the full 3 points. And now mathematically, they're not at the bottom of the Western Conference anymore. That belongs to RGV Toros, sitting at the bottom based off, I don't know, what is it, goal differential or whatever the tiebreaker is there. But when you look at the standings chart, I think they are sitting below Orange County mathematically. I think they're both on the same amount of points, correct? I believe
it's because Orange County has beaten them both times they played them. So head-to-head matchup would be that tiebreaker.
So there we go. And Orange County is only 7 or something points out of the playoffs as we speak, with how horrible a season it's been to mathematically still be in the playoff hunt. I know, 7 or so points doesn't seem like a huge thing when you're just thinking of the numbers, but that means you have to have teams in front of you really drop in matches. And any team that's ahead of you is statistically been better than you all season. So,
well, I mean, the team that's ahead of you right now is the team that you play next, right? So that's another, you're looking at 7 points that can very quickly become 4. And then you're looking at, a game difference between Vegas. That's doable. Locomotive is sitting 1 point in front of them, but with you have 2 games in hand over El Paso Locomotive. So there's definitely a pathway here where 7 becomes 4, becomes 2 really quickly. We saw this several years ago where Orange County dropped points to Tacoma, and it's like, oh, there goes the playoffs. And then they just put on a nice little run. You still have, 10 games left. If you put on a nice, run of 5-6 games, you can find yourself very much in contention, just like what Monterey Bay did coming out of the basement, and now they're pushing for a playoff spot. So there's still positivity here that if you can go on a decent run, and you have some favorable matchups down the stretch to put that together. So you got to get those 3 points coming up for sure.
Yeah, when you had the Tacoma match last season, that was a little bit earlier in the season, so maybe you weren't in as much a do or die mode as you are sort of at this point of the season. But again, to be mathematically still in that contention is really good for the team, and hopefully they're hitting that stride like we saw last season. We'll talk about the upcoming match here against Las Vegas, and we'll sort of discuss what we think the club needs to do as far as how many points they need to get the remaining 10 matches to realistically hit the playoffs. But first, before we do that, we do have a guest that's joining us, so I don't want to take up too much of their time, so we'll get them on here. Our guest at this point is going to be current goal scoring leader for the USL Championship, and a man who just coming off a brace at home against rivals Phoenix Rising. That's Mr. Milan Iloski. Milan, welcome back to the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for taking some time to join us. Let me ask you this question. I know this is your first season with Orange County, but I'm sure you're well aware of the rivalry between Orange County and Phoenix. So how exciting, how impressive, how good did it feel for you to get the brace and help lead Orange County to the full 3 points against the rivals from Phoenix?
Yeah, it was a big win. They're ahead of us in the table, so I mean, at this point, it's no secret we can't really afford to drop any more points, and especially teams ahead of us. We gotta do some catching up here to end the season. So it was a big win, and just happy to help the team and get the goals. And yeah, and then obviously getting the win was huge for us, so it can really give us hopefully a chance at this thing. But big win, and hopefully we can take it from there.
Now, I know the players are sort of staying out of this whole crazy story going on with the stadium and some stuff going on with the stadium, but word was brought to our attention that Coach Richard Chaplow got some video of the city council meeting, a young Charlotte making a speech to the city council, and word is that he shared it with the players and showed you guys that video. Did he show you that video, or do you recall that video?
Yeah. We always have some sort of team talk on the way out. The last few minutes of the locker room where Rich will come in and not necessarily say words of encouragement or anything, but just kind of like last talking points. And we didn't really talk about anything this time. We had the projector out that we usually watch film on, and all he did was say, he said he always talks about playing for each other, playing for our families, playing for our friends, playing for our loved ones, and he said that something we play for that we don't talk a lot about is we play for the fans. And so all he said was, we're just going to watch this today, and this is going to be the last thing. We're not going to talk about the game or anything else. We're not going to talk about, final, really anything. He said, I'm going to leave you this video and show you, the people you play for that, have your back. And it was a great video, and it definitely got the group kind of riled up and ready to go. And, we definitely do feel that support from the fans. And I know the club's worked very hard and, gaining that support from, the Orange County community. And you can definitely see it at the games, me coming in as my first year. But, it's great to see the support from the fans out at the city council meeting. And, it speaks volumes to the club and to the community, the importance of Orange County Soccer Club. So it was a great video, and it definitely riled up the group before the match.
Let me ask you to just sort of take us through that first goal against Phoenix. And that was the one where you got the inside post, a nice shot. But before you got to that point, I think you sort of faked out one of the Phoenix defenders where they sort of fall over. What's going through an attacker mind like yourself when, is that in slow motion for you when that's going on the field? Is that all moving in slow motion for you? And because it looks like you were just calm and composed and just waiting for that exact moment that you can get that shot past the Phoenix goalkeeper in the inside post. How did that all play out?
Yeah, it's just honestly a lot of repetition and being in a situation so many times in my life. I think that, yeah, you have it here. Like right here, I'm thinking there's two guys. I need to get away from one, and that's the guy that went flying was able to get him away from me. And then when I was isolated with the other guy, I knew he's on an island, and I know I'm close enough where I only really need to take half a step to get a shot off, and I know I can go through his legs, which is what I ended up doing. But if he would have bit harder and I would have had half a yard to go around him to the back post, I would have done that. But I'm just right there, I'm just reading what the defender gives me. And if he's staying super tight to me like that, then I know the goalie's blinded and I can go through his legs.
I was going to say, it takes some strong guts to go a near post on that type of shot. Most players probably just naturally would go for that bend into the top outside post there. How confident were you once that shot came off your foot that was going to get past the keeper?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for goalies because they're so close and they're blinded by the defender. I prefer when I'm in the box and for people to be around and people to be in front of me because I can, kind of use bodies to finish. Where if, you're doing, sometimes for me, it's harder to score when we're just doing like a finishing drill in training and there's no one in front of the goalies because they can see the shot. Where like right there, I always know I'm setting up to be able to come back through his legs or if he doesn't bite on, lunging out to block the shot to go to the back post. And I know I can always just go to the back post. So yeah, I'm trying to just set the defender up in any way, and I kind of just go off what the defender gives me, and I'm not really thinking about anything else other than just trying to get that half a yard to get my shot off one way or another.
Yeah, so you have 3 braces in a row for the past 3 games, 5 in the last 8. What's it going to take to get you a hat trick?
I don't know. That's what everyone's messing with me about right now. They're all saying to score 3. No, I don't know. I mean,
is the brace the new hat trick? Is that the line now? Like,
no,
you're gonna start a new trend?
I prefer 3. 3 would be better than 2, but no, we'll see. I mean, I just want to keep going game by game and get one at a time. If I end up getting the hat trick, then great. I'll take a brace if it gets us the win. But if we need 3, I'll go try and get the 3rd and do anything I can. But yeah, it's a good run of form, so I'm happy with it. But there's always room to improve. I could have gotten 3 last game. I could always do more. I could always give more. And so when I go back and watch the film, I don't look at it like, oh, I scored 2 goals. I played great. I didn't think I really played that well other than the goals. So I always think I could do more and provide more to the team.
And then a follow-up on that one with kind of how well you're playing, as I think you're scoring goals that neutrals and even fans of the team you're scoring against have to tip your hat. What's it like playing with that kind of confidence and that kind of support behind you?
Yeah, it's great. That's like goes back to the city council thing and all that. It's great, the support from the fans, and it's great when other fans are clapping for you. That's how I know I scored a good goal, when other fans are DMing me on Twitter or anything, saying like, I wish you didn't score, but great goal. Like that's always a nice feeling. So yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun. Scoring goals is something I've loved to do since I was 3 years old. So for me, it's the best feeling in the world, and it never gets old. So I'm going to keep doing my best to score more goals and keep getting that feeling.
And then beyond scoring goals, there's a question in the comments that says, how does it feel to know you're on pace to set the USL Championship single season record for opponents' ankles broken?
Yeah, it's a funny one. No, it's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if that's actually a stat. They should keep that. But I'm not really necessarily trying to like break people's ankles. I'm just trying to, like I said, create like half a yard. And sometimes defenders, when they're on an island, they have to like sell themselves out. So they're really in a bad spot. And so once they're in that spot, I know I can go either way because I trust going to my left foot. It's something I've worked hard on. And, I think that defenders, when they're on an island with me, they don't know whether to force me in or out. And then I can kind of, not play with them, but, really set up that shot. So a lot of times they kind of get exposed, but it's more just them being in a tough spot out there.
All right, Milan. So you did mention earlier on about improving self-improvement and team improvement. What I mean, obviously we're still on the outside looking in, even though the team is looking like in extremely good form right now. What still needs to be worked on as a team to get ourselves back over that playoff line?
Yeah, I mean, there's everything really. I think that there's never going to be a performance where we're like we're perfect. We can't get any better. I think that even last game, keeping a clean sheet. I think that we need to get back to keeping clean sheets, and that starts from people in the front. And we're always gonna have opportunities to score goals. We're always gonna have chances to create, especially with the full squad that we have now. That's always gonna be there. I think that the group's taken initiative over the last few weeks, especially to bunker down defensively and to try and do better. And we're doing everything we can to try and keep clean sheets. And that's been the message again this week, that we need to focus more defensively and, bunker down and be able to suffer sometimes. I watched a lot of the games last year because of Brian, and I noticed, sometimes the team didn't play well, but they never conceded during those periods. And that's a big thing for a team because there's going to be stretches in a match where, it's not going perfect and you need kind of, you need to reset and you need to be able to sit in a block and not concede. And I feel like we struggled with that throughout the year, but we've gotten better at it. And that's something that we're continuing to try and improve on.
Awesome. And then we got one more fan question from this one's from Russell. He wants to know about Onetouch Academy and what his philosophy on helping youth players, developing youth players. What is your philosophy?
Yeah. So Onetouch Academy is just it's basically a private soccer training company that me and my two brothers and my old college roommate who played at UCLA with us that we started. Basically, the idea is we want to be able to give an opportunity not just to kids, but to other college kids. So pretty soon we're going to be recruiting people to, be able to do private trainings, and we'll educate them on how to run a private training session for kids. And it's going to give an opportunity to the college kid to be able to get an experience coaching, which most college soccer players, they want to get involved in coaching. But also, the philosophy that we have is that we all had fun growing up playing soccer. And especially nowadays, it can be taken very serious. And so we want to portray a level of professionalism and be able to give a professional session to someone that we see day in, day out as professional soccer players, because we've all had experience in that field. But we also want to portray a level of fun and be able to go out there with kids and, really make sure that they love the game and make sure that they have a good time, because a lot of times people get stressed out and they get overdone and they don't want to play anymore. And that's really heartbreaking for someone like me who wants to see kids in the community really be involved. So we all do private training sessions. Most soccer players in the United States run private training sessions. So we thought, why not start a company and, that really focuses on this. So yeah, we think that it's a good product that we can try and help people as much as we can, both college soccer players as well as kids who want that professional or that collegiate level training experience.
Perfect. Thanks. Really quick, I have a question for you. Word is that a week or so back, Devin Kerr said that there was no way Milan Iloski will break the single season goal record for the USL Championship, which I believe is 25. You're relatively close to that in the way that you've been able to score multiple goals in games. I mean, it's not an unrealistic number for you to achieve. Then you go out in Phoenix, of course, get that brace. What are your thoughts? Is that on your mind? Is that something you think about, or do you not really think about that? And then second follow-up question to that is, do you think you can get there?
Yeah, it's funny because I should probably say no, I don't care, but I do care. I'm a forward. I want to score goals. I want to break the record. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't care. I want to go out tomorrow and score as many goals as I can. I want to go out and score 5 goals if I can tomorrow. Obviously, that's not realistic. And, my objective is to win the match. And if that means I score 3 goals, great. If it means I score none, that's awesome. But I'd rather win the match before anything. But is that in my mindset? Of course it is. As a forward, I want to, set the bar as high as I can. And I think I have the ability to go out in every game and score 2 or 3 goals. So I think that if I take my chances and I continue with this form, I do think it's definitely a high possibility. And it's something that, I'm not that's the end all be all for me this season, but it is something that's in the back of my mind. And it's something that I'm definitely chasing and something that I want to beat. I want to be, the leading goal scorer in the USL this season. I want to break records. And, I think that, it could etch my name in USL history, which is important for me and important for my family. And I think that it would be, a great honor for me.
Yeah, and our producer sort of did some math. 10 more games of the season. If you can get 2 goals a game, that'll put you well beyond that record. And follow-up comments on there is, that means we probably at least get into the playoffs, sneak in the playoffs, which would be pretty amazing. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, the way you've shown that you can calmly get that ball in the box and get it past some quality goalkeepers, that's definitely something that fans are going to be excited to be looking forward to. Typically we would ask you, the vegetable question, but I think you've already been on our show and answered that question. If you can recall, so we don't need to ask that question. And by the way, Dylan's not here to ask it anyways. So we won't do that, but, let me ask you just one random question that we can ask you, and then we'll let you on your way. And that random question is like, if you were to pull out your phone right now, or your whatever music used to play music, Spotify or whatever, what song would be the song playing right this moment?
Honestly, I don't really play the music. Brian usually plays it when we drive to training in the morning, or my girlfriend will play it when we're driving together. If I'm in the car alone, I prefer to talk to people. I'd probably whip it out and call someone. That's what I would do.
All right, there we go. Oh, so let me ask you this, that not trying to get you in trouble. Who has the better taste in music, your girlfriend or Brian?
I got to say girlfriend, or I'm going to be in trouble here. So I'll say her.
That's a very smart answer there from Milan Iloski. Milan, do you have a message for the fans that'll be heading out to Championship Soccer State? I believe it's a home game tomorrow, right? Or yeah, it's a home game tomorrow. Any message for the fans?
No, I appreciate it. Continue your great support. We definitely appreciate it. We hear you guys there, and it's a great privilege to play in front of you, and we're going to do everything we can to bring home the 3 points and, protect our stadium and, our home fans.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Oh, go Brad.
Yeah. Sorry. I had one more, speaking of shout outs. I have 2 that I'd like to ask for you to contribute for the community here. The first one is, I know that certain people within the team say that you are a very charitable person. Is there a certain cause that's near and dear to your heart that you would like to just give a shout out, that you'd like to do more work with in your future?
Yeah, for me, I've always been a big kids guy. I think that, I definitely want to be more involved, and I try to do it in Utah when I was at the Real Salt Lake. COVID played a big part in that, and I wasn't able to, but I love getting involved with, with kids who maybe don't have the abilities to play soccer or to even play any sport. There's a lot of kids who are very unfortunate, and Rich talks a lot about it, and we definitely as a team recognize it, that, we have the best jobs on earth, and sometimes kids, don't have the opportunities that we do. So for me, it's giving back to kids that might not have the opportunities that I've been blessed with from my parents. And, that's something that I definitely want to get more involved in, is kids in the community, and, giving back and being able to be someone that they can look at as, a guy that, I play professional soccer and it's a great job, but, I also have other parts of my life that are very near and dear to me. And one of them is giving back to like those kids. So, I definitely want to get more involved with them and see, if, I can make something more like that happen more often.
And then I don't know if you gave us one last time, but do you have a local business shout out that you'd like to give? Just any business in the Orange County area that you'd like to just shout out for us fans to?
Yeah, this sandwich spot by my apartment, Mamon. It's amazing. Great sandwiches. It's my favorite sandwich spot. I always go there.
Perfect. And I know our producer, Andy, will look that up and try and share the information either on this episode, or we'll do it in social media. But Milan, we want to let you go because you got to get some rest. Be ready for that important match tomorrow, and hopefully we get another 3 points and get that much closer to the playoff line. Everyone, that is leading goal scorer for Orange County Soccer Club, Milan Iloski. Thank you, Milan, for joining us. And take care, and best of luck to you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. So, awesome to hear the honesty there from Milan, right? He was honest in saying, most players would probably want to say, no, it's all about winning or whatever. But, obviously a player in his shoes, that it's within a grasp, right? To break a record. It has to be in the back of your head. It has to be something you're striving for. And obviously if you could strive for it, but you strive for it within the system, I'm not saying Milan should go and just ball hog it and just dribble down the pitch and take every single shot, right? And we don't see that from Milan. Milan's working within the system. He's getting his passes. He's passing the ball when that opportunity arises. But if within the system, it's an achievable goal, I want the player to have that aspiration to achieve that goal, because that is just going to be good for the team if they're doing that way. let me ask you guys this, and then we'll move on to this Las Vegas match really quick. Odds that Milan Iloski can actually get or break that goal. Alan, do you think he can do it? Just yes or no. You don't even have to give odds. Just say yes or no.
Can he or will he? I guess is the question. I think he can.
Let's go. Okay. Will he?
Can he? Yes. Will he? I'll give you like a 50-50. Like if I was betting, it would probably be like maybe like a 5-1 odds, like good odds, but like there's some good defenses that Orange County plays down the stretch that might keep him from crossing that line.
All right, Brad.
Can he? He'd need a hat trick at least in there, but will he? The defenses, I know Alan didn't mention, but Tampa, Memphis, Pittsburgh, San Diego a second time, San Antonio, a third time. There's a lot of really good teams coming up, and a lot of those teams have not let in a lot of goals this year, so...
I'll go with this. My prediction will be 5-0 defense is what I'll say for my prediction on this. And hopefully that works out for the good. Let's talk quickly about this Las Vegas Lights match, because we are running late or deep into the show. Las Vegas is that one team that is currently sitting in the final spot for the playoffs in the Western Conference, 7th place with 33 points. Orange County are sitting at 26 points. So like was mentioned earlier, if they can get the 3 points here, that brings them that much closer. You're looking at sitting at 29 points and only being 4 points out of the playoff spot with 9 matches to go. That's definitely a friendlier situation than if you either draw or drop all 3 points in this match, obviously. What do we think? What does Orange County have to do to... I hate asking this question because I always feel like Alan or someone's going to say score goals and don't give up goals. But what does Orange County have to do against Las Vegas at home to pick up the full 3 points? Alan.
Yeah, so Orange County has never lost at home to Vegas. And so that's something to build off of. Vegas is one of those teams that's been kind of hit and miss all season. They've looked really good in some matches and then really terrible in others. Obviously, the name Orange County is probably most familiar with is Daniel Crisostomo, or Crisostomo, or whatever different pronunciation people want to pronounce incorrectly or correctly.
But we know because he's been on our show and he gave us the correct pronunciation. Yeah. It's Crisostomo.
Yeah. He has really come into his own as a really quality midfielder. And so I think this is what's going to boil down again with Orange County is, can they muck up the midfield and make it really hard for Vegas to counterattack and break those counterattacks down? Obviously, Danny Trejo and Cal Jennings have been pretty instrumental on this team as well. So it's really stopping those counterattacks through the middle and then not giving up, knucklehead goals to Cal Jennings or Danny Trejo, because they can take advantage of mistakes, right? Trejo has been that kind of Milan Iloski light this season, where he can punish teams kind of on his own. And then the other thing to keep an eye on is again, another name Orange County is familiar with is Abraham Romero. When he is on his game, he is really hard to beat. And he's been playing pretty darn well this season. And you give him credit where credit's due. So it's kind of that midfield Crisostomo with Danny Trejo and Cal Jennings. But then if Romero's, standing on his head, Orange County is going to have a tough time getting goals across. And so it's limiting the mental mistakes against a pretty good counterattack. And then, you're going to have to put in a pretty decent shot to beat Romero. And I think that's going to be what Orange County needs.
Yeah. Hopefully, if Romero is similar to the way he was when he played with Orange County, if we can get him frustrated, he tends to make a few mistakes out there. Hopefully we get the Abraham Romero from the US Open Cup. If you can recall back where he tried to play the ball and it slipped right through his hands into the goal off, I believe, a corner or a set piece. So hopefully we get that Romero and not the amazing goal stopping Romero that has also been seen throughout the season. Brad, what do we need to see from Orange County to get this victory against your favorite team, Las Vegas Lights?
Good one there. Yeah, no, not favorite. But where
that's going to be eventually. that's potentially your hometown team in the future. So
the only way I'll ever give money to Las Vegas Lights is to attend games of teams that I'd rather see them lose to, namely Orange County, but also, if Tampa were to visit again, I know they visited this year, but if they were to come back, I'd love to see some East Coast players come out west. But the one thing that Vegas did extremely well when they beat Orange County last time 3-0 was creating turnovers in the midfield and then being able to capitalize on that. And Orange County has looked better over the last couple weeks in the midfield, but Vegas can go back to that game plan and maybe it can be successful again. So limiting the turnovers in the midfield, exploiting, Vegas's press and allowing the team to use that open field. If someone's pressing, there's gonna be an open outlet somewhere, and it's finding that release valve before that press really comes down and limiting those turnovers. So if Orange County can do that, the goal is going to be wide open. Romero's been in good form, but nobody's perfect, especially against Milan Iloski.
Awesome. Before we move on, I need to ask any of our viewers that are listening live in the comments. I need two of you. Each of you just type out a number in the comments. I just want to figure out. I'm doing an experiment here really quick. So just two of you listening in the comments, type in a number. How confident are we that Las Vegas or that Orange County can get this win over Las Vegas, Alan?
I mean, if they play the way they played against Phoenix Rising, I think that they have a really good shot at getting 3 points out of it. I mean, you have a red hot goal scorer that can put the team on his back, and you eliminate one Skendi mistake, and you have a clean sheet. So I feel pretty confident that Orange County can get something out of it. Vegas has had a little blip in their run of form, drawing to Atlanta 2, even up a man on the road. I'm not super convinced about Vegas on the road. As of late, they've started out pretty hot, so I think Orange County has the confidence going into this one that they can do some really good work against them.
Perfect. Let's do this. Brad, I have an official question to ask of you. Did Dylan provide his official prediction for this match to you?
I was wondering where you were going with that. I have not seen, heard, or account for any Dylan predictions this week.
All right. So the rules of our prediction game is we get to pick his score, and the fans have provided some numbers. I'm going to take the first two numbers, and we'll go Orange County score 3. Las Vegas scores 7. That's Dylan's official prediction for this match. Alan, what's your prediction for this match?
I'm going to go 2-1 OC.
All right. And I want to say thanks to Joseph Figueroa and Russell Buteau for the prediction numbers there. Brad, what's your prediction for this match, Orange County versus Vegas?
Well, see, I was going to also pick 2-1 because, that's just kind of been Orange County's bread and butter.
By the way, hey, really quick, Brad, before you get predictions, let's get the prediction sort of standings up on the screen here so we can sort of see how things are looking at the moment, and then we can see how this is going. So as we see, Alan's the one in the lead. He's got a pretty strong lead there, and I don't know if Dylan's going to get much out of the prediction unless Vegas gets a win. That'll get some points for Dylan there. So Brad, you really, you got to go opposite of it. You can't do the same thing as Alan if you want any chance of catching up to him.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of starting to say. I'm going to go ahead then and change it up and go 3-2 Orange County.
All right. And I'm going to take one. I already am giving up on this game here, but I'm taking one for the team. I'm going to say 5-0 Las Vegas so we can get that good karma going and we can see Orange County hopefully get a positive result out of this. Props to El Patron de Grayson. 103 points at this point. Alan, come on, you got to pick up the slack there. We don't want to have to spend money and give away free prizes, do we? But we can see some of the other predictions coming in here. Share your predictions so Brad can get those recorded. We can figure out how things go. Let's move on to other soccer news, random soccer news. Anyone want to go with something before I have my discussion? I'm sure you all know where I'm going, but we'll go to you guys first.
Yeah, there was a WWE match in the Premier League. More on that later.
I
what
was
a
also
tease Brad has there.
I was also going to say, what are Liverpool fans going to say when both Everton and Man United are relegated this season?
Oh,
don't do
man,
that
it
to my
is.
Everton.
Hey, as bad as Everton is looking, Man U is looking ridiculous right now.
Yeah, if you want to watch a just absolutely ridiculous half of soccer, and I know we've lost some people with Premier League talk, but just go watch the first half of Brentford Man United, and just wallow in the Schadenfreude and just the ridiculousness. It was like an incredible half of football.
And Brad teased sort of where I was going on this, but man, what an amazing Sunday match between Chelsea and Tottenham that led to some interesting it looked like WWE style action there at the end. I'm going to share, there was actually a pretty funny, although it looked like more Chelsea-esque favoritism, little animated video of the highlights of the match. And it was pretty funny. It shows Chelsea manager like putting glue on his hand and then going to shake Antonio Conte's hand at the end of the match, thus leading to the fun incident that happened there. But if you didn't watch just the end of the match live, just watch it. It was pretty interesting. Just watch the whole antics between the two managers, and it would be interesting. I think even Antonio Conte, there was a moment when Chelsea scored their second goal that is it Thomas Tuchel? I don't know how to say his name. I don't really follow the team that much. Go, Alan.
Tuchel.
Chelsea scores, and Tuchel purposely like runs down the pitch, down the sideline to sort of celebrate by himself, right past Antonio Conte. And I think there's word that if Conte knew that was happening, he probably would have stuck his foot out, and that would have been even more interesting to see. Amazing thing being called, I guess, Battle of the Bridge 2. If you recall back when Leicester City won the Premier League, there was some really heated moments between the two teams, Chelsea and Tottenham back then, and this is just sort of another iteration of that. But hey, Tottenham was able to steal a point from that match, late header after Christian Romero pulled or yanked a little bit of Cucurella's hair before a corner kick that led to a Harry Kane header into the goal. Crazy match. Go watch the highlights, see what it is, and I'll find the animated clip that's really hilarious to watch too.
Hair pulling is not specifically outlawed in the laws of the game, so
it is not, and that's where they said, because it wasn't called on the pitch, if it goes to VAR can only call it if it was like a really horrible foul, and I guess the hair pull wasn't a really horrible foul in the box. So there's a lot going on there, and both sides, there could have been extra cards being shown to players and managers throughout that whole match. So it happens. That's what derbies are all about, right? That's what rivalries are all about, is getting that extra intensity. And you sort of saw that from Orange County this past weekend, the extra intensity on the pitch from the boys in orange to get those 3 points over their rivals Phoenix. So that was pretty awesome. Random thoughts before we wrap things up.
Before we go on, I actually do have one soccer news. If you want to go see some crazy 5 minutes, goalie making an insane save, go to the Sunderland QPR game, and QPR's goalie in the EFL Championship scores, and then a minute later makes this incredible save to rescue a point for Queen's Park against Sunderland, which I know some of our listeners are Sunderland fans. So sorry for bringing up that sore wound right now on a Tuesday evening.
Sunderland till you die, and they are actively trying to kill their followers. So
I've actually just started watching. I'm at the first episode of season 2 now, watching that show. So I'm way behind the times when it comes to that. But watching that, splitting between that one and also the new All or Nothing with Arsenal. Bone to pick on that one is, why is there sort of no mention of why Arsenal, with the Arsenal Tottenham like game postponement, when Arsenal had just sold a bunch of players and had one COVID case and a bunch of injuries and said they couldn't field the full team. They didn't mention that in one of the latest episodes, which is really crappy. But yeah, random thoughts. Let's go to Brad first. Random thought.
Yeah. As priorly documented on many episodes, I'm a nerd and I'm looking for more Nintendo Switch games to play, because That's kind of something that the girlfriend and I enjoy to do. But just price range of like $20 to $30 kind of indie game scene. If you have any suggestions, reach out to me on Twitter. My handle is right here in the video feed.
There we go. Alan, any random thought from you?
Yeah, I turned off some podcasts yesterday on my drive home, and I put on some David Bowie, and I'm going to recommend his 1971 album Hunky Dory. I think it's probably one of his best. It's his super early Bowie, but it's some really classic Bowie that you should check out if you haven't listened that far back in Bowie's collection. It's a great album.
Awesome. And for those of you watching our live stream, a quick clip of that video I was talking about. Again, we'll share the full video.
Was that Richarlison with the double red card?
No, that's I think that is it Richarlison? Maybe it is, huh? No, it's the ref. It's the ref in the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll share the link to that whole video. It was pretty darn funny. With that, I'm not going to have a random thought. My random thought was just showing a quick clip of that video. But let's go ahead and wrap things up for Brad, for Alan. Our missing Dylan, I don't know where he is, and missing Taylor, and also producer Andy. Oh, yeah, thanks to our guest, Milan Iloski from Orange County Soccer Club, for joining us and sharing his thoughts on a whole bunch of things. And as always, thanks to all the listeners. I'm Ray, and this is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are out.